Morning everyone and welcome to another CrosseMaths lesson. Okay, this morning we're going to be doing rounding to decimal places. So what I'd like you to do, make sure you've got a pen, pencil, everything in front of you. I'd like you to look at this grid, pause the video, and I'd like you to have a go, please. Pause the video and have a go at all of those questions. Right guys, so it should have been paused, it should be pretty much done now. Okay, if you have finished, that's fab. Okay, if you haven't, don't worry. Okay, it's not the end of the world. Okay, just get as much done as you can. Okay, first one, 3,065 divided by 5. Okay, very straightforward division. 5 doesn't go into 3, so I put 0 at top, carry the 3 over. 5 goes into 36 times, remainder none, no remainders. 5 goes into 6 once, remainder 1. 5 goes into 15 3 times. So my answer is 613 for the first one. Next one, remember guys, I'll put this on the big screen at the end, and if you need to pause it after each question to write the answers down, please do. Okay, I got 3,947 added on to 483. 7 plus 3 is 10. 4 plus 8 plus 1 is 13. 9 plus 4 plus 1 is 14. And 1 plus 3 is 4. So 4430, 4,430. Last one, a bit of multiplying. Okay, this is super straightforward. Okay, so you should get this absolutely nailed. Okay, what we've got is a grid. I like to use Chinese method. Use whatever way you want to use. Okay, just make sure you've got a way you're getting it right. Okay, if you've got a way and you're going to get it right some of the time, maybe it's worth trying a new way. 3 times 9 is 27. 9 times 9 is 81. 9 times 5 is 45. And 3 times 5 is 15. Once I'm there, I got 5 in the first slide. Then I got a 5, a 4 and a 1, which is 10. A 1, a 1, a 7 and an 8, which is 17. And 2 and a 1, which makes 3. So my answer is 3,705. 3 points for that one. Now, a bit of solving equations. Okay, 3x plus 6 equals 36. Take away 6 from both sides first. I end up with 3x plus 6 minus 6 is nothing. 36 take away 6 is 30. 3x equals 30. If I divide by 3 on both sides to get x on its own, I end up with x equals 10. Bit of subtraction. Make sure you line the decimal points up correctly. I've got 6.84, 3.49. Okay, 4 take away 9, I can't do it, so I'm going to borrow 1 from the 8. 14 take away 9 is 5, 7 take away 4 is 3, 6 take away 3 is 3. So my answer is 3.35. Next one, 5x times 7 is 35x squared. 5x times 2 is 10x. 7x just goes on the end because it hasn't got anything yet. There's no expanding brackets for 7, so it just pops on the end. These two are the same, so 35x squared stays on its own. 10x and 7x makes 17x. My answer is 35x squared plus 17x. Last three. Okay, 35% of 120. 10% is 12. 30% would be 3 times that much. So we times it by 3. Gives me 36. 5% is half of 10%. So if I half 10%, I get 6. And if I add at the bottom 2, you'll see I make up my 35% that I want. 36 plus 6 is 42. So 35% of 120 is 42. Share £125, the ratio 3 to 2. Okay, one side's getting 3, the other side's getting 2. I added my shares first. 3 plus 2 is 5 shares altogether. So altogether I got 5 shares of money. £125 is the amount of money I'm talking about. I divide that by the 5 shares equally. I get £25 per share. If it's £25 per share and one person gets 3, the other person gets 2, the person that gets 3 lots of £25, which is £75. The person that gets 2, he gets 2 lots of £5, which is £50. You can check this is right because you can add them up and they add back to the original amount. Okay, so you know you're correct. Last one, 2 over 7 plus 1 over 3 times the bottom two numbers. 7 times 3 is 21 on the bottom of both. Add goes in the middle. 3 times 2 is 6, 7 times 1 is 7. If you add the top numbers together now, because you can, because the bottom numbers are the same, okay, 6 plus 7 is 13, 21 stays on the bottom because it was 21 in the question, okay? Don't add the bottom numbers together. That's the final answer. It can't be simplified because 13 is prime. Right, guys, so these are the answers you should have had. Okay, if you want to pause the video now and mark it, you can. Okay, if you missed any, I was going too fast, that's okay. Okay, once you've got that nailed, anywhere around 15 is really good. If you get an 18 every single time, this is way too easy for you, okay? Right then, so rounding to the nearest 10. Super straightforward. This bit down the bottom is the most important bit, okay? If it is 4 or less, it rounds down. If the number on the end is 5 or more, it rounds up, okay? And that's the really important bit with this. That's the most important bit of all of it. So my first number, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. My first number is 17. So what I do is because I'm rounding to the nearest 10, I'm going to put my magic line, that's what I call it, in there, okay? If I look to the right of it, looking down the bottom, is it 5 or more? Yes, it is. So that 17 is going to round up to 20. 13, similar thing. I put a magic line in after the first digit. Okay, after the tens. Is that 3, 5 or more? No, it's not. It's 4 or less, so I'm just going to chop it off. So I end up with 10. The next one, 25. Is that 5 or more? Yes, it is. So I'm going to round it up to 30. Okay, guys, pause the video and get those written down for me. Right, guys, so if you kind of understood what I was on about then, you may want to pause the video now and just have a go yourself. Okay, if you don't, you're more than welcome to just carry on and watch me go through them, okay? Rounding to the nearest 100, okay? We need to go, after the first digit, we're going to go in there. Okay, that 2, we're not worried about the 7, worried about the 2. That 2, or that 27, is it 50 or is it 4 less than 50? Yes, it is. So it's going to round to 100. After the next one, is that 63, 50 or more? Yes, it is. So it's going to round to 300. And the last one, 325, is that, yep, less it is. It's less than. So it's going to round to 300. So you can see, you're just looking, and this pink box is really important to give it a read. If you're struggling to understand, you're just looking which one it's closest to. If you're rounding to the nearest 10, you're just looking, is it closer to 10 or is it closer to the one above? If you're rounding to the nearest 100, you're looking which one it's closer to. If it's 50, it goes up. Anything less than 50 rounds down. Pause the video now if you feel like you need to write any of that down. Round to the nearest 1,000, same thing. If you want to pause it now, you can. 2020 is closer to 2,000. 4763, because it's a 7 by there, it's going to round to 5,000. And 9009 is going to round down to 9,000. Because 9 is way away from 10,000. Okay, pause the video now if you want to write any of those down. I think we should understand this, and this is the stuff we should know already coming into high school. Right then, so have a go. What I'd like you to do is pause the video now and have a go at some of these questions. If you're feeling confident, do the yellow box at the bottom. If you're not feeling confident, do the red box at the top. Right, guys, so hopefully that's all finished, okay? Well done if it is. Mark what you've done so far. The yellow box, all you were doing is trying to round them, and then you add them together to estimate the total cost. Estimating means round first and then add them up. So that's what you should have gotten. Right then, so what we're on doing today, okay? We're rounding to decimal places today. Now, decimal places rounding is easy, okay? And it might seem a little bit childish, but you've got to follow what I was on about earlier on with the magic line, okay? I draw my magic line in, and you can say this in your head if you want to. It's one decimal place, so I'm going to count across 1 from the decimal point and draw it in by here. Now you look to the right of your magic line at that number. Is that 5 or more? If it's not, you just chop it off and your answer is 4.8. Okay? If it is 5 or more, that 8 would round up to a 9. Same thing on this one. Count across 1. Count across 1. I'm just gonna get rid of all my answers down the bottom. I'm gonna rub them out each time, just to stop people cheating. Looking to the right of it, that number 4. Okay, is that 5 or more? No, it's not. So I'm just going to chop it off, and my answer will be 4.8. Next one, count across 1, draw a magic line in. If you look to the number to the right of the magic line, is it 5 or more? If it is, that 8 has to go up by 1 and it becomes 4.9. Okay, what I'd like you to do, I've scribbled the answers out. Can you pause the video now and have a go at the ones down the bottom? Right guys, that should all be done. Count across 1, put my magic line in after the 8. Okay, is that 7, 5 or more? Yes it is, so that 4.8 has to go up to a 4.9. Count across 1, draw a magic line in. Remember, it doesn't matter how many digits you've got after the magic line. All that matters is the one just to the right of it. Is that 6, 5 or more? Yes it is. So that 5.2 has to go up to a 5.3. Count across 1, draw a magic line in. Okay, is that 6, 5 or more? Yes it is. So that 1.9 will round up to 2.0. Okay, ooh, I've gone too far. That 4.9 will round up to 2.0. Okay, mark what have you done so far for me, guys. Okay, that should be hopefully straightforward. Right, next one. So, okay, 2 decimal places. Now, exactly the same as we just did, okay? Nothing changes. Okay, I'm just going to scribble some of the answers out, okay, because it makes it too easy otherwise. Okay, right, so first one, okay, and those answers are wrong. Those are the 1 decimal place answers, that's the problem. So count across 1, 2 this time. I count across 1, 2, put my magic line in. Is that 2, 5 or more? No, it's not, so I'm just going to chop it off to leave 4.83. Next one, count across 1, 2, draw my magic line in. Is that 2, 5 or more? No, it's not, so I'm just going to chop it off to leave 4.84. Count across 2, is that 2, 5 or more? No, it's not, so I'm just going to chop it off to leave 4.85. Okay, really, really straightforward to start us off. Again, on this one, it's already done for you, okay, because there's no number after that one. I'd like you to have a go, pause the video and have a go at the last 2 for me, round them to 2 decimal places. Right, if I count across 1, 2, draw a magic line in. Is that 7, 5 or more? Yes, it is. So it's going to round to 5.27. 6 is going to go up to a 7. Count across 1, 2. Is that 7, 5 or more? Yes, it is. So it's going to round to 1.97. Okay, very, very straightforward rounding, guys. Should be quite easy for you. Okay, what I'd like you to do is have a go at, pause the video now if you need to write any of those down. I'd like you to have a go at this. Remembering integer means nearest number, nearest whole number. Okay, what I'd like you to do, use the examples at the top to guide you. Okay, if you need help, those are examples that will be done for you. Okay, have a go at the one at the bottom, please. Pause the video now, have a go at the one at the bottom. You round into 1 decimal place, 2 decimal place, and nearest whole number. Right guys, so hopefully that's done. Okay, the answers are at the bottom. Mark whatever you've done. If you got them all right, you really, really get this, and I'm really, really happy for you. Okay, you understand. Okay, if you don't worry. Okay, don't worry at all. It's one of the things you need to work on as we go through. Right, the very last thing we do, okay, a bit of problem solving. Okay, pause the video now, and I'd like you to have a go at working on this company that sells huge letters. Right then, so I'm going to have a go at this, okay? The company sells huge letters. The one we've got is U. Each letter is exactly the same price. Altogether, this one that we've got costs £58.50. Okay, work out how much it costs to make the word me. Okay, in order to do that, I've got to take my £58.50 and I've got to divide it by 3 because I need to work out how much one letter costs. 3 goes into 5 once, remainder 2. 3 goes into 28 7 times. No, it doesn't. 3 goes into 28 9 times, remainder 1. 3 goes into 15 5 times, and 0 0 times. So altogether, one letter costs £19.50. If one letter costs £19.50, I'm trying to make the word me, so I need 2 letters. £19.50 times by 2 gives me £39 for the word me. Okay, and that's it. That's how straightforward it is. Guys, if you found this video useful today,